Understanding the traits of wisdom and maturity is not always straightforward, especially when it comes to women. It's more complex than just age and life experiences. Psychologists say that there are certain telltale signs that a woman may lack wisdom and maturity. It's not about judging, but rather understanding these signs to make better interpersonal connections. In this article, I'm going to share with you 9 of these signs, not to put anyone down, but to help us better understand and navigate our relationships with the women in our lives. Let's dive in. 1. Quick to blame others. One of the first signs psychologists point out when considering a lack of maturity and wisdom in a woman is a tendency to quickly place blame on others. We all make mistakes. It's part of being human. However, mature and wise individuals own up to their mistakes and take responsibility for their actions. On the contrary, those lacking in these qualities often find it easier to point fingers and blame others, rather than taking a moment to self-reflect and accept their part in the situation. It's not about pointing fingers or making someone feel bad. It's about understanding that this behavior might be indicative of a lack of maturity or wisdom. Recognizing this can help us navigate our interactions with more understanding and empathy. 2. Struggling with self-control. Another key indicator, according to psychologists, is the struggle with self-control. Self-control, or the ability to manage one's impulses, is a crucial aspect of wisdom and maturity. Those who lack it often act on their immediate desires without considering the long-term consequences. And yes, I have seen this in action. I once knew a woman who was incredibly impulsive. She would make snap decisions without considering the potential fallout. This behavior led to a lot of unnecessary drama and regret in her life. From splurging on expensive items on a whim that she couldn't afford, to impulsively quitting a job without having another lined up. Her lack of self-control was evident, and it often left her in difficult situations. 3. Lack of empathy. Empathy is the ability to understand and share the feelings of others. It's a cornerstone of emotional intelligence, and is often associated with wisdom and maturity. A woman who lacks empathy may struggle to see things from another person's perspective, or to understand their feelings. This can lead to issues in social interactions, as it can come across as selfishness or a lack of understanding. Interestingly, a study published in the Journal of Personality found a strong correlation between high levels of empathy and better performance in social situations, including conflict resolution and building strong personal relationships. Therefore, lack of empathy not only hinders personal relationships, but can also affect one's overall social competence. Understanding this sign can ultimately help us foster better connections by promoting empathy and understanding. 4. Overly defensive. Psychologists often point out that an overly defensive attitude can be a sign of lacking maturity and wisdom. Defensiveness is a response to a perceived attack or criticism, but when someone is constantly on the defensive, it suggests an inability to handle feedback, take criticism constructively, or accept responsibility for their actions. A woman who is overly defensive may react negatively to even the slightest hint of criticism, often turning a simple conversation into an argument. This constant need to defend oneself can strain relationships and hinder personal growth. 5. Inability to manage emotions. An essential aspect of maturity and wisdom is emotional intelligence, which includes the ability to identify, understand, and manage one's emotions effectively. A woman who lacks wisdom and maturity may struggle with managing her emotions. This can manifest in many ways, from unpredictable mood swings to overreacting in stressful situations, or even difficulty in expressing feelings appropriately. Struggling with emotional management can lead to a host of difficulties in personal and professional relationships. Understanding this sign can help us interact more effectively with such individuals, providing support when needed, and promoting emotional intelligence as a crucial life skill. 6. Poor listening skills. Communication isn't just about talking. It's equally, if not more, about listening, and wise and mature individuals understand this. A woman lacking in wisdom and maturity may often display poor listening skills, instead of truly hearing what others are saying. She might be planning her response or even interrupting before the other person has finished speaking. This inability to listen effectively can lead to misunderstandings and failed connections. It can make others feel unheard and undervalued, which can be incredibly disheartening. Improving our listening skills, truly hearing and understanding what others are saying, is a beautiful gift we can give to others. 7. Fear of change. Change is a part of life. It's often uncomfortable and challenging, but it's also a catalyst for growth. Mature and wise individuals understand this, and they embrace change, even when it's difficult. However, a woman who lacks wisdom and maturity may show a fear of change. She may cling to the familiar and avoid new experiences or opportunities out of fear. I've been there. I once had to move cities for work, leaving behind everything familiar: my friends, my favorite coffee shop, even my beloved dog. It was terrifying, but I knew it was an opportunity for growth. 8. Difficulty in admitting wrongs. We all make mistakes. It's a universal part of the human experience. But admitting when we're wrong takes a certain level of maturity and wisdom. A woman who lacks maturity and wisdom may struggle to admit when she's made a mistake. She might go to great lengths to justify her actions or shift the blame onto others, instead of simply acknowledging her errors. This difficulty in admitting wrongs can lead to strained relationships and hinder personal growth. 9. Self-centeredness. At the core of maturity and wisdom is the ability to look beyond oneself, to consider the feelings and needs of others, and to act with kindness and consideration. A woman who lacks maturity and wisdom may often display self-centered behavior. Her actions and decisions are primarily driven by her own wants and needs, with little regard for how they may affect others. This self-centeredness not only impacts her relationships but also limits her perspective, depriving her of the richness that comes from understanding and appreciating others.